everybody. This is Morning Coffee.
803. T-Velly Productions.
Good morning, good morning. You are tuned in to the Morning Coffee Podcast Show. I am your host, Tanisha R. Atkins. And it is time for today's edition of Morning Coffee. I hope everybody is having a fantabulous day today. Even though today is just getting started, you still can have your mindset set to have a fantabulous day today. Get your mind all set and ready to tackle on whatever this day has to offer for the day. You can do it. Heart of a champion. All right. So we have been having a very, very good week here at the Morning Coffee Podcast Show. We've been talking about friendships all week. We've been really getting some great responses, some really interesting comments. So exciting to hear you all kind of talk back and share, your opinions on the topic of friendship. Friendships is just something, that's a conversation that people don't talk about that because they really think, I have the best friends ever because we always go out and we always, we shop together, we eat together, we go on vacation together. But, like we talked about earlier on the show this week, there are so many more great elements to having a good friend because you can be sociable. That doesn't mean you're a good friend. And we have to learn the difference. We have to learn the difference in kicking it with somebody and really building your team. So we're going to get right into the conversation today. We have our Real Talk live sessions. And so we're going to continue the conversation just talking about friendships today. It's going to kind of be a two-part conversation today. So today we're going to talk about overcoming hurtful friendships and how to build your team of friends. Whew, what a good topic. I'm so excited about this friendship thing because it just means so much when you have the right team of people around you. You can really soar. You can really soar in life. And just like you can soar in life with the right people, you can really hit a downfall with the group of wrong people, with the wrong group of people around you. And so it's just important. That's why I wanted to take this time out this week to talk about friendships. So let's dive right into Real Talk Live, all right? All right, so first we're going to talk about how to overcome hurtful friendships. I think that everybody at some point in their life, whether be it elementary school, middle school, high school, adulthood, I know that everybody has lost a friend, or you have disassociated with people who you thought were so close with you and you just knew y'all would be friends forever. Let me tell you, that doesn't feel good. And I can just say you that from personal experience. And I'm not going to go, so real far into the conversation, but I'll just say this. I had a friend, and at some point in our lives, we really did everything together, for years. Everything. We just had fun, we went out all the time. We just had a good time, good conversation, always at each other's house. Just really man, this is really my friend. And I won't say any names just to protect them because I still love them. But anyway, life brought about some changes. But let me say this. Y'all excuse me. But let me say this. It came a point in life where that friendship, I started to notice things that were not there before. I started to notice, like I was telling y'all earlier in the week, our lingo had changed. There started to become irritation in the relationship, and I knew that something was shifting. At the time, I didn't pay too much attention to it because I just was like, well, we're women, and sometimes women are moody, but I found out that, anyway, I'm trying to be very protective, because I don't want it to come out the wrong way. But this is real talk, so I'm just going to give it to you real. Anyway, life happened, and then that fork in the road came, and that friend and I, we kind of separated. And it just was like even to this day, I feel like we don't even speak. And to think about how close we were back in the day, I was so tore up and messed up about that for a very long time because I took it so personal, which is something that I had to overcome in my life, taking things so personal. But, I just began to, what did I do that was so bad that we ended up like this? And I blame myself for so many years after that. And it wasn't until I really grew up and really just started to really, get closer to God, and for God to just reveal to me that relationship needed to end so that I can propel and go higher. And I'm just like, I don't get that, Lord. I don't understand. I just totally didn't understand. And so why am I sharing all this with you? Because you're going to come to that fork in the road with some people. And it's not going to feel good. It's going to mess you up. You're not going to understand why was just 2 days ago we were kicking it like crazy. And now it's like I never even knew you. Understand and trust the process of things. I told y'all early in the week, when it's time for your life to change, when the seasons of your life change, one of the first things that will change is your circle. And I had experienced that before, with separation from people, but I don't know, this time it just hit me so hard. I guess because at the time, I was really dealing with a personal challenge, and I felt like that friend walked away from me during the time when I felt like she should have been clinging to me and really being that cheerleader that I needed for them to be. And it's just like I didn't get that. And instead, what I got was a lot of judgment, and it just, it just hurt me to my core. But let me tell you, I got over it. How did I get over it? Because I started to get back in touch and in tune with my awesomeness. And that's what you have to do. You have to just realize, first of all, you're not for everybody. Even if you're for that person in a season, you are still not for everybody. And I felt like at that time, during that season, when I walked with that friend, I needed that. I needed to feel those joys in life. I needed to feel, there were things that I exchanged from that person's work ethic that still sticks with me today. But it hurt. It hurt. And it's going to hurt you too. But just know that it's okay. Because after that, God brought me into the company of some different friends. And that's when I learned about purpose. That's when I learned that God had a purpose for me. And there was this awesome stuff. There was things that I had been wanting to do since I was a kid. That my different connections brought about the opportunities to be able to do those things. So even though that hurt me at the time, the end result was amazing. And I just want to say that to you too. Understand that life will shift on you, and it's going to hurt you, but you have to just emerge from the hurt. You have to learn how to emerge and become a better person. Heal, let your heart heal, and don't blame yourself, and get back in touch with your awesomeness. You are an awesome person. Just because that person decides that they no longer want you in their storybook, hey, get out of that book, get back in that car, and keep moving. But sometimes you have to pull over to the side of the road and tend to your emotions that way. That's okay to pull over to the side of the road, but it's not okay to stay there. So to overcome hurtful friendships, just understand that life is, trust the process. Life is trying to take you somewhere great. understand that something greater is at work and that this shift was necessary. More than anything, understand that the shift was necessary. And shift. And just trust and watch God bring you into some amazing new friends with amazing new connections that will take you to some amazing, super amazing places. So, how do you get over hurtful friendships? You forgive them, you let it go, you drop it, release them, and understand the process of it. Move on. Understand that it did not happen to you, that it happened for you. And that is how you get over hurtful relationships. All right? I know that's going to bless somebody, because that right there, that's a nugget. That just blessed me all over again. All right, so let's move on. We got a few more minutes. Now we're going to talk about building your team. Building your team of friends. What type of friends do you need to have on your team? We talked about earlier in the week about the elements of a good friend, making sure that you have good people, making sure that you have goal setters on your team, making sure you have accountability partners on your team, making sure you have people that's going to help to cultivate the gifts and the purpose that God has put in you. Friends that are not just going to, pat you on your back and yay, but friends that's going to check you when they see you getting out of line. You need those type of friends. You need bulldog friends. You need friends that's when you slacking and really just one. You need friends that's going to say, hey, no ma'am, this is not acceptable. You don't need pity party friends. You don't need that. You need compassionate friends, but not pity party friends. That's a difference. That's a big difference. So when building your team, first of all, like-minded people. Like-minded people with good hearts. Not perfect people. Everybody on your team is not perfect because you're not perfect. So stop walking away every time you notice a friend do something that you don't like, because people have character flaws. People lie. People do all kind of stuff. Now, if they're your really close friend, I would say talk to them about it and be like, look, you need to do better than that. All that lying and stuff, you're going to get to the point where people not going to trust you. And we have to stop being offended when our friend check us, because we have to make that exchange and let them help us to grow up. When you know that somebody loves you, you can take it a lot better, like we talked about yesterday. This ain't just shade and hey, this is just me loving you and saying, hey, I don't care if you get mad at me, this is what you need to hear at this time, and I will be less than a friend if I just sit here and let you continue to waddle in this pity or whatever. So building your right team, you need bulldogs, you need goal setters, you need friends that know how to loosen up and have fun. You need trustworthy people. You need like-minded people that are like-minded to goal-oriented people. You have to have the right team. You need cheerleaders, supportive friends. We all need support. And like I told y'all yesterday, when you're doing something, you should never have to wonder if your friends are going to be there, because there's no question about it. And I posted a post on Facebook yesterday that said there are a few things that you shouldn't have to second guess, and friendship is one of those things. So this has been a great week talking about friendships. I have enjoyed this conversation. We're going to revisit this again a little later on. But as y'all know, today's Thursday. This is our last show until next week. But we're going to be talking about love, self-love, loving other people. I got some great things coming up for next week. But this is the Morning Coffee Podcast Show. And again, I'm your host, Tanisha R. Atkins. And that has been today's session of Real Talk Live. I want to invite y'all to connect with me on social media, on Facebook and on Instagram at Morning Coffee Podcast Show. Leave me some feedback. Let me know what you thought about the show. If you have an interesting topic for me, send me an email, morningcoffeelive1@gmail.com. So love on your friends. Appreciate your friends. Celebrate your friends. That's another thing that you need. People that are going to celebrate you and not tolerate you. That's a whole nother show. Well, I'll call you all blessed today. Go have the most fantabulous day ever and rock it out. It's almost the weekend. One more day. Y'all have a good one. I'll see y'all Monday.